So I'm going to change this image a little bit. I no longer have the layering mask selected. I now have the main image. I'm going to go up to image. I'm just going to do some adjustments to it. I'm just going to go to exposure and see if I can't reduce the offset to bring out a little bit more of those darker colors or shadows. So I don't want it to be too bright and overtake the image, because the focal point is the type and the woman. That is our main focal point. If we start having other competing items in the background, it starts to develop a second focal point, and we don't want that. We want to have one single place where the eye focuses on, and everything else is background. So we don't want our background images to ever overtake our foreground main focal point. So let's go ahead and bring in our other one here, and you know what would be nice? Let's add some clouds, because why not? We're practicing with layering masks. Let's go ahead and bring in some clouds. So you can grab cloud photos anywhere. So you can get them on Pexels, you can get them on Google. We're just going to use the very little tip of this. We're just going to use, let's say we want the clouds to kind of come right around this area. So we're going to go ahead and press enter. We're going to integrate the clouds into the sky to make it pop a little bit. I'm going to use layering mask. So I'm going to go down here and press my layering mask. I can paint on and get rid of some of these clouds by using black and white paintbrush. So to get rid of things, I'm going to paint with black. Okay, so I'm just kind of slowly blending this in, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller as I go up the tower. I'm just going to slowly get the Eiffel Tower all the way up to the top. And I can blend these in so it matches that purple. So I'm just doing the blending modes back on this original cloud layer. And if I ever did too much or I want to go clean that up, you just take the white and then you're able to bring back what you just erased. And that's what I love about layering masks. It's such a great way to cut things out. And if you ever want to delete it, you just right click, you delete your layering mask, and you're back to normal. All right, so let's go ahead and blend this cloud layer in so it doesn't look like it's blue and the purple together. It's not really going well together. Let's do a couple of these to find out what works out best. Screen is nice because it brings out the purple in the clouds, or soft light, or good old luminosity, which will adapt the background color. Let's reduce the opacity on that. So we're just adding some clouds to make that picture look a little bit more enticing. Here's our Statue of Liberty. Bring that into this photo. And we're trying to make this as quickly, trying to do this in under 20 minutes. So we're trying to move quickly. So I'm going to use layering mask again. So I'm just getting my layering mask and I'm getting the gradient tool. And you'll notice this is black and white, so it's just like painting with a paintbrush, but I'm doing a gradient and I'm just going to blend it out. And I'm going to put them in the background here. And I'm also going to see if I can't use that luminosity blending mode to bring out some of that background color. So now we can start to really position our type. What I thought would be neat is to have a little bit of this, the points from the Statue of Liberty's hat. And I'm just painting on with black to clean up this top selection a little bit. It's right here where it was cut. Just cleaning that up, blending that in nicely. Okay, so now we could do this a couple ways. We can position her on top and then cut out of secrets, or we can use a layering mask on secrets. So I'm applying on the type, on my type layer, another layering mask. So we're really practicing layering mask in this lesson. And I am going to see if I can't select some of this and be able to cut that out of the secrets. So first I need to find my selection. So let's go ahead and bring this just temporarily. It's going to bring this on top. Or what I can do is I can maybe toggle off secrets. There we go. That's a little bit better. And I'm just going to select our statue here, just the little spikes. And I just had the polygon lasso tool. I probably could do a better selection with the pen tool, but for time and the fact that no one's going to get this close to the image, it's probably not going to matter too much. And sometimes when you're doing design work and you're working all day and you have a lot of projects, sometimes you just have to take a few shortcuts for the sake of time, as long as it still looks good in its final form. That's all that matters. Okay, so I'm going to toggle on secrets, and now that I have that selected, I'm on secrets and I have my layering mask selected on secrets. And of course with layering mask, if I want to remove something, I paint it on with black, or I use the black color. So I'm just going to get rid of that. And there we go. The Statue of Liberty is now looking like it's on top of secrets. but yet the background is still in the back. So it's kind of a nice shortcut there. So just trying to find ways to make this look layered. I could add a little drop shadow on her so she doesn't look like she's floating in the middle of everything. So I'm just adding a little drop shadow to her layer. Let's reduce the distance a little bit and the size. And I like how it adds a little drop shadow there on the L. It kind of gives like she's casting a shadow on the L, which is kind of nice. We don't want a super strong shadow. We don't want it to look super obvious. So now we can do some tweaks. We can add a few things here. We can select secrets and we can add a little texture to it. So I'm just double clicking secrets. I'm opening up my layer styles panel. Let's see if we can't click over here on bevel and emboss. If we can't click on texture. And we're going to scale this just like a little diagonal line texture here. Nothing too exciting. And then we could even add that down here to our little pink area, which it may not stay pink forever. Just adding a little texture. So you notice that kind of integrates a little bit, just adding a little bit of that diagonal lines there. We can keep that or not, it just all depends. We can add drop shadow to our travel hack secrets, but I think it looks pretty clean as it is. I think it looks very readable. So I don't feel like we need to add drop shadow because I think it's fine, you know, as is. And we can adjust this Eiffel Tower a little bit and the clouds. So I could just take my layering mask. Maybe we don't need clouds at the bottom there. And then just adjusting our layers. Of course, we can always change this away from pink. We can even add a gradient to it instead of just a color. So we can add a little pop of gradient here of this orange and pink. Or we can just have it be a color. It just doesn't matter. Whatever we think would be most high impact. I think that'd be pretty high impact. So let's zoom out on this. I'm going to zoom out to 50%. And this is how it's probably going to be seen. So we need to make sure it's very readable here, that we can kind of see all the elements, that there's nothing unnecessary, that we really like it. And one thing I think we can do is we have a lot of color. So we have this blue, we have this yellow, we have this pink, and we have her skin tone. And what a lot of times you'll see with thumbnails on YouTube, especially when they put the presenter on there and they have really high impact colors, a lot of times they'll make themselves black and white. So we're going to do that in this case. I'm just going to go up. I'm going down to adjustments and I'm going down to the black and white option. This is a really good way to convert color images to black and white. It's better than just making them grayscale. So we can go ahead and adjust our reds just to make sure that she doesn't look too dark when she's made black and white. Of course, we can always go to exposure and adjust it as well. Okay, I'm going to click on OK and let's brighten her up just a little bit, just adding a little exposure, brightening her up. Let's also sharpen her. So we're going to sharpen more. That's a little too sharp, so we're just going to do just one sharpen. There we go. That just adds a little crispness to her. We can even do that to our little New York statue here, Statue of Liberty, sharpening. And I could probably do that to the Eiffel Tower. It might look a little more crisp. There we go. That looks great. So we can even add a little drop shadow to secrets if we wanted to, just to kind of make it pop out over her now that she's black and white. But I don't think I'm going to do drop shadow over every single type, just enough. So I'm feeling happy with this. I think we're ready. I think that was about 20 minutes or so, maybe 18 minutes. We were able to create this high impact YouTube thumbnail. Once again, let's go ahead and zoom out. A little bit different than the original one I did, and that's okay. These projects always come out just a little bit different when I do it again. So there we go. We're ready to export this. How do you best export a YouTube thumbnail? There's a couple things we can do. We can export it as a quick PNG. We could do a save for web, which is usually great when you're worried about file size, but we're not really worried about file size here because YouTube will just downgrade it to whatever it needs to. So I'm going to save it in the best, highest resolution size possible. I'm just doing a save as, and I'm going to do a JPEG. I'm going to go to desktop and save it. And I'm going to do the largest file possible because They don't really have a limitation on size. I mean, they do, but you're not going to be creating anything that's going to be 20 megabytes. So you're going to be okay. So I like to have a large file because now we have a 300 dpi high resolution image now. So if I wanted to adapt this to Instagram or something that's going to have a bigger size footprint, I'm going to have no problems because everything that's raster is going to be in a higher resolution than if I created this in 72 dpi. So now we have a little bit of a higher resolution image. We exported it. If I was worried about size, I would make sure I would probably downgrade this to 72 dpi, which if you wanted to do that, you can go to image, go to image size, and you would be able to change the resolution down to 72, and it would do that for you. But in this case, it doesn't matter because they don't have these very low file size restrictions. They kind of downgrade it for you. So I'm ready to go. I have my JPEG. I'm ready to upload it to YouTube, and we're done. So hopefully you've enjoyed this quick dive into YouTube thumbnails. I've gotten a lot of requests for them, and I think there's something that there's a lot of work out there for those who know how to do really good YouTube thumbnails that have a high impact and grab people's attention.